Testament times, the Apostle Paul started the churches in Corinth. Corinth is in the southern part of what is today the country of Greece. The city of Corinth was a beautiful city, was a prosperous place, had a large population of about 130,000 people. That's really large for a city at that time. Like many coastal cities, it was a very busy place and had lots of problems, mainly immorality, probably more than other cities at that time. Part of the reason why Paul had to write letters to the Corinthians was to help correct some issues of immorality that were affecting the church in Corinth. Probably I could compare the churches in Corinth with churches in New York or California in a rich neighborhood. Another characteristic of the church in Corinth is that the majority of the believers there were not of Jewish background. They were Gentiles, and they had a mix of pagan religions. The differences between Jerusalem and Corinth were remarkable. There were differences in social condition, both at each end of the spectrum, with Corinth being at the high end and Jerusalem at the lower end. There are differences of culture, Corinth being a place where immorality was the norm, while Jerusalem, which was and still is, the holy city, the site of God's temple. Paul describes the church in Corinth as having great attributes. They have the opportunity now to add one more and prove their love towards other believers, even those outside their culture and their racial background. The church in Macedonia established a precedent that the church in Corinth is about to match. The church in Macedonia demonstrated already their sincere love for one another. Why was it important for the Corinthian church to prove the sincerity of their love? Because they were challenged to the limit. They were not giving for a need that their countrymen were experiencing. They were not giving for a cause that they liked. They were not giving for a cause that they had an interest. They were not giving to people that they had some kind of affinity with. They were giving to people from a different nationality. They were giving to people from a different culture, from a different language, people that thought differently and spoke differently and acted differently. We may not know the people that we help, but they are not only the beneficiaries. Your own children and your children's children may harvest one day the seed of your generosity as they receive the blessings of love and care from people in their lives. There is no limit to the great things that God can do when we give of ourselves to God and to others.